rights on the line. Bearcats won by 20 last year. Heading into this game, a lot of smack talk to Holloway. And Sean Kilpatrick had some strong words for the All-American out of Xavier. When asked on a radio show if Holloway would start for the Bearcats, Kilpatrick responded, would he, with the players we have now? I would say no. Early in the first half, Kilpatrick gets hacked on the way to the hoop, and at the free throw line, he hears it from those fans at the Cintas Center. Who's Kilpatrick, they were saying. First half, Xavier down 2 off the miss. Here comes Holloway. Up to the freshman, Des Wells throwing down. We are tied at 17 later in the first. Another Bearcats miss, and Holloway, this time, great vision to Mark Lyons. He had a game-high 19 points. Xavier up 6. We move to the second half, now up 13. Holloway, little dribble drive, lay-in, plus the foul. He had 17 points, and Musketeers rolling. Brad Redford for 3 off the mark, but check out Justin Martin. Will not be denied. Less than 3 minutes to play. Holloway, no. Kenny Freeze, yes. Xavier up 70 to 53.
Here's Holloway out in front. And he'll back it out.
That's a classy decision. Could have gone in and tried to score and risk injury. An embarrassment to Cincinnati, but I like that move. Number 8 in the nation. They've had some stiff tests. Still perfect.
Holloway backdoor from Lyons. Last year, Cincinnati won by 20 at home. This year, it's going to be a lopsided win for Xavier in their building. And now an altercation, and this is the last thing you want to see. The bench is clear. With 9 seconds to go in a blowout.
And they're still going.
Yancey Gates is in the middle. Punches are being thrown. Mark Lyons has something to say too. And out at midcourt, Kenny Freeze is bloody. And he's hurt. Justin Martin doing whatever he can to hold Des Wells back as well. And I think they're going to end the game right here. The game is over. And the Cincinnati players still aren't leaving the floor. And Holloway is up on the scorer's table, woofing at the crowd. What the two coaching staffs have to do right now is you got to get the teams off the floor.
I totally agree. It's a dangerous situation right now.
Andre Walker is still at midcourt, and you still have Cincinnati players walking to midcourt.
Cooler heads have to prevail. And unfortunately, we saw this coming. Holloway runs by Cincinnati's bench towards the end of the game, and he's jaw-jacking. And that's what ends up happening. Unfortunate finish to a game that had a lot of emotion.
Well, let's take a look and see where this all began. With only 9 seconds to go in a lopsided game.
Watch it right here.
And it's Mark Lyons, I think. Mark Lyons and Geelon Gwynn, those two squared off at the start of the game. During the national anthem, they were woofing into one another. And Kenny Freeze got hit and hit hard in the middle of that scrum as this thing exploded quickly.
And I think that was actually Holloway and Gwynn that squared off.
Maybe it was. From that angle all the way in the corner, it was hard to tell. And then Yancey Gates threw at least 3 or 4 punches. A couple of Xavier players came back with punches as well. And the officials are over at the scorer's table reviewing the brawl. And the Xavier players are finally leaving the floor as the 2 teams end up going down the same tunnel, I believe, here at the Cintas Center, as their locker rooms are not that far apart.
Officials are reviewing, but just an unfortunate situation, and hope someone checks on Kenny Freeze.
You're right, and it is Holloway.
Yeah,
it is Holloway and Gwynn.
Holloway and Gwynn.
And then Des Wells came over, or check that, Justin, was it Martin or no, it was Des Wells who came over and kind of gave a blindside shot to Gwynn, and that started it off.
Well,
that's just a shame that that's the way it had to end. There's Aaron Williams.
Hey, he's trying to get in the middle because Aaron is as big as all of them.
Trying to hold back Yancey Gates.
Wow. Just hate the fact that these guys have to end this way. Just unfortunate, Bob. And you understand the frustration of Cincinnati, but that's 2 Holloway with a freshman from Cincinnati. You've got to be smarter than that in that situation. Right here, these 2 are going at it. Xavier's already won the game, and here comes another freshman, Des Wells, to instigate the issue.
Yeah, with a game that's long decided, 9 seconds to go in the game, and you get Gwynn and Holloway kind of going chest to chest, nose to nose. That's just the macho showmanship garbage that, to a certain extent, has invaded today's sports landscape more so than we were growing up. And you don't need it. And in a rivalry game where tempers could very easily flare, again, the macho, I'm going to show you I'm that tough woofing that has become kind of part of today's sports culture, sometimes leads to moments like this. And boy, that was a shot from Yancey Gates to Kenny Freeze. And it just dropped Freeze. And Freeze got cut and almost ended up at the bottom of a very dangerous pile.
And he was smart enough to scramble out of there after he got hit.
Said Holloway, quote, when we're on top of our game, I feel like we can beat anyone. But final seconds of the game, this would get out of hand. Holloway just jawing with the Cincinnati bench, and then the bench is clear. Take a closer look at this. Yancey Gates punches Kenny Freeze in the head. Cole cocks him right in the side of the head. He wasn't even looking. Freeze falls to the ground, and then Sheik Mooj kicks Freeze as he's trying to get away. Freeze gets attention from the medical staff. That eye clearly bloody. Meanwhile, Gates continuing to go at it with other players. The senior Cincinnati native. This is final time in the shootout. And both coaches trying to get their teams under control. But think of the Cintas Center. You have to leave through the same tunnel. So finally, the teams would get off the court. Xavier wins. Let's hear from Holloway after.
Yeah, you know, that's what you're going to see from Xavier in Cincinnati. And we got disrespected a little bit before the game. Guys calling us out. We're a tougher team. We're grown men over here. We got a whole bunch of gangsters in the locker room, not thugs, but tough guys on the court. And we went out there and zipped them up at the end of the game. That's our motto, zip them up, and that's what we just did to them. I was hearing on Twitter or whatever, one of those guys called me out, said I wasn't starting on their team or whatever the case may be. Then those guys saying they were better than us, but you don't talk before the game. It always go down. Well, you talk after the game. And you let your player on a court talk for you. If somebody put their hands in your face or try to do something to you, where we from, you're going to do something back. You know, we're not going to sit there and get our face beat in by somebody like Yancey Gates or somebody. You don't let that happen. And y'all amp it up so much, it's like y'all make it an animosity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't do this. Like, this is a rivalry game, like what y'all expect from us.
If my players don't act the right way, they will never play another game at Cincinnati. Right now, I just told my guys, I will decide. I'll meet with my AD and my president, and I'm going to decide who's on the team going forward. That's what the University of Cincinnati is about, period. I told them the way I feel. I've never been this embarrassed. I'm hoping President Williams doesn't ask me to resign after that. I made everybody take their jersey off, and they will not put it on again until they have a full understanding of where they go to school and what the university stands for and how lucky they are to even be there, let alone have a scholarship. Because there's a whole lot of kids that can't pay for college. They're all sitting in there with no jersey on. Some of them I physically took them off.
Strong words from the coach Mick Cronin right there, the Bearcats. Now, Big East Associate Commissioner Dan Gavitt said this, quote, "We will talk to the officials and engage with the coaches and the institutions, so it might take some time. We'll start with what penalties incurred through the game officials and go from there and see what is appropriate." Andy Katz now with more on this melee.
The NCAA rule for being involved in a fight is cut and dry. If you throw a punch and the officials deem it to be a fight, you are out for the next game. But that stays with you like a scarlet letter. If you get another fight throughout the course of their season, then you're done for good for that season. Now, I spoke with officials from the Atlantic 10 and the Big East. They're going to review this fight over the next 24 to 36 hours, speak with both schools, hope to speak with both coaches and certainly the officiating crew. They certainly can add to any suspensions that Xavier or Cincinnati decide to put on their respective players. And according to both conferences, they certainly expect there will be multiple suspensions. Now, as for the one player who was bloodied in this mess, Xavier's Kenny Freeze, according to head coach Chris Mack, he said he did sustain quite a black eye, but he's got a week to get better.
Well, the Musketeers have now won 4 of their last 5 games against their intra-city rivals, though Cincinnati still leads the all-time series 48-31. But that, of course, not the story of this game.